Hey friends, Robert and Brielle here. Thank you so much for joining me today. We're going to have a fun Coach's Corner prepared for you. I want to talk to you a little bit about a question that comes up again and again and again. Probably a question that's come up, I'm going to say, ever since I got into this game of coaching, which is way, way back in 1995, and coached thousands of people since then. And this is a question that just recurs and recurs and recurs. And it seems like right now, with everything that we're experiencing, all the things that are changing in our society, all the uncertainty and everything, and people dividing, right? We have people on both sides of every argument, it seems, and everyone on each side says, well, I want to change, their minds. I want to change my family members. I want to change my friends. I want them to understand what's really happening, and they don't want to hear it. Why don't they want to hear it, right? It's a common refrain. So I want to address that today because I get that email question probably at least 2 times a week, and occasionally before, but now really a lot more than before. So I wanted to just kind of address that today, if I could, with you. I'm just going to check here, make sure everything's working. It is. Let's talk about, we don't want volume on this because that's not going to help anybody, but it allows me to monitor what's going on. Okay, so let's get into this today. And the topic for today, as I said, is very simple. It's like how to support those you really care about. And I want to share this with you. This is something I found up on the Ultimate Breakthrough 2022 Challenge, the Tony Robbins Challenge. And it's kind of interesting. How do you stay positive and get momentum when it's so hard to find like-minded people, right? Everyone's sort of feeling that. We're feeling alone. We feel like people don't agree, and the people around us may not be on our side, may not be seeing things the way we see it. But here's the real question. So many people around me don't want to change. Have you felt that before? How many people know that, right? How many people know that people around them doesn't sound at all like they want to change? This is very common, by the way, and I've seen this a lot over the course of my career. And I'll go back to 1995 when I first got my first exposure to Tony Robbins. I came back from that event, and I tell you, I grew literally 10 years in what was an event that was 4 days. It was phenomenal. It was amazing. The challenge was I was so excited about it, and I could see all my friends and I could see what they're going through and say, you know what, I have solutions for you. I'd love for you to learn what I've learned. I'd love for you to believe what I now believe, which I didn't believe before, because I've changed so much. I've got so much more information. And the funny thing, I thought they would all be excited about it. And that's not what happened, right? What happened was the exact opposite. Right? They started pushing back, and I call it shields up. Shields went up, and they didn't want to hear it anymore. And they got to a point where they literally alienated me, and they said, well, I'm not going to be your friend anymore. It was, whoa, that was strange. That was harsh. What happened? And what happened was, they felt like I was forcing it on them, right? I was forcing my beliefs on them. Nobody wants that. Everybody hates that. Nobody's asking for that at all, right? So there was something that Tony Robbins had shared at his seminar, and he said, how many psychologists does it take to change a light bulb? Good question, right? How many psychologists does it take to change a light bulb? Well, the answer is just one, with one caveat. The light bulb's got to want to change. And I thought, brilliant. I get it. I see what's going on here. So from that point forward, all of my coaching, I would always preface it with, do you really want to change, or are you just asking? Do you really want the answer, or are you just thinking about the answer? Are you just curious? And what had happened was, instead of me going right into a coaching session and starting to, bombard them with what I knew and how to change them and fix their problems, because honestly, everyone you meet's got something you can help them with, right? Everyone. So I was in that mode where I was like coaching all the time, and everyone I met was a potential person I could help. And I was all excited about it. But if they're not excited about it, then you come off as annoying. You're just annoying. You're not helping anything. And it was a lesson I needed to learn. And that helped me a lot. Just realizing, wow, that light bulb's got to want to change. And if it doesn't want to change, there's nothing at all that I'm going to do that's going to make them change. Now, what are the things that cause people to want to change? Well, normally personal events, you see it all the time. When somebody has a personal crisis, right? All of a sudden they're asking for new answers because they can't go on anymore. So they go along. Everything's kind of okay. May not be great, but it's kind of okay. And they'll just go along until they hit that bump in the road where things aren't going well. And then all of a sudden, they need answers. They need something new. It's at that moment that you have the option, the opportunity, if you will, to share with them some new ideas, some new thinking. But until that point happens, it's hard to do it. So you look for that. You look for them. Number two would be that you look for them coming to you and asking for help. Now, they may not have hit that bump in the road, but they may be barreling along and they know that they could be barreling up here, but they're down here and they want a little bit more. So they may come to you and say, okay, you seem to have some things working for you that seem to make you happy. What are you doing? And if they ask those questions, that is the moment that you could step up and you could start sharing with them what your beliefs are, what you know, the information you've found, things that have helped you. They'll be open at that point to listening to you. And you're not a pest anymore because they've opened the door. So this idea of we want to help, we want to help, we want to help, very true. Very good of you to do that. And the other thing is you have to figure out for yourself is you have to be able to say, okay, I know I can help you. I want to help you. And I have to figure out where that moment is that I'm going to have that opportunity, when that door is going to open, when am I going to have the opportunity to do that? And that's what we're looking for. So when we start to look for that and we find it, then all cards are on the deck. You're able to help. You're able to do a lot for somebody in that instance. So that's the number one thing. If you can be patient around it, because here's the way I like to look at it. I'll give you this, and this is something that a lot of coaches know. You got to let people sometimes learn their lessons, right? It's like the kid riding the bicycle. If you shield him from falling or her from falling and scraping up their knees, are you really helping them? Are they really going to learn? And the answer there is probably not. But if you let them fall once or twice, they learn. They get the lesson. I know it's hard to see it. It's hard to see that knee all scraped up and all dirty and bloody, right? But if that's how they learn, that's how we learn. We make our mistakes and we learn from our mistakes. Now, anything you're doing in life, you're going to screw up at some point. That's okay. We're not here to be perfect and do everything right all at once. We know we're going to make mistakes. So the goal is, let us make the mistake, let us learn from the mistake, and until that person raises their hand and say, hey, I need help with this, you got to kind of leave them alone. And it's hard to do, especially as a parent. It's hard to do when you see your kid struggling, or you see a relative or a loved one struggling. Man, you want to do everything you can to help them and help them change their thinking. They're sometimes creating their own prisons in their own minds. So it's just really about being patient and waiting for that moment, because it will come. It may not come immediately. It may not come in 6 weeks. It may not come in 6 months. It may take 6 years, but you got to be patient, and you got to be always ready to be able to help them. It's like, I want to help you. I want to help you. I'm going to let you know I'm here. Whenever you need that help, it's here for you. And they may never come around, but they may come around. And you got to be ready for that moment when they say, okay, I'm ready for what you have. What do you got, Rob? What do you got? I want this help. And you got to be ready. If you can do that, you become a tremendous, tremendous asset. So that's really the beginning of how you start helping people. Okay, what's the next step here? I'm going to tell you, like I said, this is how to change people. Well, I already went over that. You really can't change them until they are ready. When they're ready, you got a lot of options, right? You can share anything you want, any videos you want, anything you want to do. You can help them in that way a lot. This is the most important one. And I'm including this here, lead by example. And the reason I'm including this here is because oftentimes what we do is we go and we say, I want you, here's what I've learned online. I've watched this video and I want you to go do it. And they look at you and go, well, how come you didn't do it, right? How come your life is still all messed up? And it's very hard to take advice from someone who's not doing it, right? You're not going to take advice from someone who's overweight on how to lose weight. You might say, well, why didn't it work for you? We look for those kinds of things. So the lead by example is really important. A lot of us want to share information. We want to help people change their lives. We want to help them, change all kinds of things about what's going on with them. But, we've got to do it for ourselves. And the question then becomes, okay, how's it working for you? So they always look up to us and they'll say, you know what, Rob, I want what you have. You have something really cool. I love what you're doing. I love the work you do. I love the way you help people. I love all of that. I want to be able to do that too. And when they come to you with that, right? When they come to you with that, then you can really help them. So you really got to lead by example. And the idea of, marketing yourself and pushing yourself on people is so 1980s, literally. It's not that way anymore. Now people are coming to us because they see in us what they want to create in themselves, be it business, be it weight loss, be it mindset, be it, an understanding of what's really going on out there, all of that stuff. They're coming to us. They want to know, what we believe. They want to know why we believe what we believe. They want to know why we might be happier than the average Joe out there. What are we doing? What's different? Why do we have more energy? Why are we more excited about life? Why do we get up early in the morning? Why do we stay up late at night? Why, they want to know, and they're going to look to you as the example. So leading by example is really, really key. And a lot of people don't do it. They just like to push this stuff on people. That's the wrong approach, and that won't get you anywhere, right? They're not going to take you seriously. So you want to impact your kids. You want to impact your family members. You want to have them start believing what you believe. You want to come over your way. You got to wait for that opportune moment. And number two, you got to really be leading by example and showing them by how you act and how you live your daily life why you've got something that may be better than they've got, or a different understanding, and how that can help them be less depressed or be happier or be stronger, and stand up for themselves. Whatever it is that you're trying to help them with, that's the opportunity for you to lead by example. Okay, next one here. Let's pop on the next screen. This is a big one. And it's one that a lot of people kind of make the mistake on. And what they do is they start talking to people, number one, who aren't interested. Number two, they may not be in their tribe, right? They may be in a different group, and they're not open to hearing what you have to say. And what ends up happening more often than not is when you start doing this for people, they're not hearing you, right? You're in one ear, out the other. They're thinking about the next thing they've got to do. They're thinking about, where's the nearest Starbucks? They're not in that conversation. And a lot of people make the mistake, and they talk to people ad nauseum, and then they get frustrated and they go, well, I talked to this group, I talked to these people, these are my friends, whatever, blah, 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 blah. You're verbal diarrhea all over them. And they don't hear me. They just don't hear me. And so you're talking to the wrong group, right? That's all it is. You're talking to the wrong group. They're not open to hearing you. You didn't wait for that moment when there was a dip in their life where they might be coming to you. Maybe you're not leading by example. Maybe, they're simply not ready, or maybe they're preoccupied with something else. So you can't do that. You got to wait for them to really come around to being ready to hear what you have to say. So the last piece here, I think, is probably one of the more important ones, is to build your own tribe. Like, people say, oh, I got to build my own tribe. I already have my tribe. I have my family. I have my friends. If they're not hearing you, if they're not listening to you, they're not your tribe. It could be your family, could be your husband, could be your wife, could be your kids, right? They don't necessarily are going to be in your tribe with the way you're thinking. You might say, well, that's really harsh. Well, it can be. But the truth is, if you want to be around like-minded people, you're probably going to have to go find a place and build your own tribe. It's not going to be, just the people you already know. You may need a new tribe. I've been building a new tribe over the past 2 years. There's a lot of people that were friends, and, we just kind of grew apart because they're in a different tribe. They have different belief systems than I do. I have these beliefs now, and things I'm learning and things I'm doing that's changing me. Of course, COVID has affected everybody, I think, and we're all changing in some way. And so some of the people I hung out with, no longer can hang out with them because the things that blended us or binded us or brought us together because we had them in common aren't there anymore. So I'm building a new tribe. I have a bunch of new friends, really great friends, who are on the same page on a lot, not everything, but a lot of things that I believe. They're on the same page, and that's kind of fun. When you have people who are on the same page, you get together, you can talk about it. And what I would discourage you is to get into a position where you're in an echo chamber, where all you're hanging out with is like-minded people. That's really good, but you got to start, seeing other people, hanging out with other people, and maybe not talking to them so much, but maybe listening. Because one of the things that's happening right now is all these groups, we're dividing as a society, and we're becoming these little tribes, right? Well, understandably, that's what's happening, and all these things are so divisive. But that weakens us as a society. I think right at the pinnacle of this, if you really want to know how we're going to get past all of this nonsense, is we got to stop being divided. We got to find ways to come together. We got to find that common ground. So build your tribe to build your strength, but also be willing to be in other tribes and listen. They may not hear you, but maybe you can hear them. Maybe you could be the bigger person in there and hear them. And, you can start to blend and break down those walls, those barriers that have been put up for us in such a big way over the last 2 years and continue and break down the walls so that you can start to come together and build bridges between the tribes rather than building walls, which is what's happening now. We have everyone sort of separating, and the more we separate, the weaker we become because we're smaller and smaller groups, right? Easier to control, harder when we're one large group. So we got to find ways of bridging the divide as much as we possibly can. So I hope this has been helpful for you. It's something that, like I said, has been coming up a lot over the past couple of weeks, and certainly over the last year. And I know I get this question at least 4 times a week, 3 times, 2 times a week. I get emails, but I see the question online over and over again. Like I said, in one of the groups, you'll see it and it'll pop up again and again. And people are always asking about that. And they go, I don't have a good answer. Well, now maybe, you've got some insight into it. Maybe that'll help you to be able to take things to the next step. All right, I want to give you a little gift here for those of you who are in business and would like a little bit of help. I am doing a 44-minute strategy session with anyone who would like it. If you're in business especially, this is for you. Just go to crushit22.com/gifts, and you will be able to sign up for a free strategy session with me, and we'll get on a Zoom call together. And we'll go over what's going on in your business, where you're struggling, where your challenges are. And I'll give you some ideas, some hints, some strategies that'll help break through, especially in this economy the way it is, and things just aren't as stable maybe as we'd like them to be. So if you would like that, it's no charge, no obligation, no hard selling, no hardcore selling. I just want to spend a little bit of time with you and see if I can help you with your business. crushit22.com/gifts, and sign up. You'll get on my calendar, and then we can have a Zoom call together. All right, that's it for me here. Thank you so much for watching. I look forward to doing this again next week. If you found this valuable, please share it with your friends and followers, and give us a thumbs up whatever platform you're viewing this on. And if you're on iTunes, certainly give it a good review. And I'll look forward to seeing, like I said, we'll be back here next week. Thanks so much for watching, everyone.